Good morning. We're live. And this is Susanna Greenberg of Book Buzz. And this morning I'm interviewing author Aruna Gurumurthy. She is the author of DIYA, A Megawatt Approach to Change, a book that is a wonderful book. And I would like you to explain to us, Aruna. First of all, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Susanna. Thank you so much.
And let's
And
see.
thank you for being here to ask me some good, nice, wonderful questions.
Excellent. First, can we see the book? I want to see that beautiful cover.
Yes.
There we go. DIYA, A Megawatt Approach to Change by Aruna Gurumurthy. Beautiful cover. Maybe you could explain to us two things: the title of your book, what it means, and also what is the significance of the images on the cover. Both things we'd like to know.
Absolutely. There are two-in-one questions, Susanna. Diya essentially means light in Sanskrit. And these little lamps are actually called diyas in Sanskrit, and they are symbolic for light, splendor, radiance. And my book title itself is called DIYA, A Megawatt Approach to Change. It is indeed a dream to bring about change, first to our minds and then to the world. The reason it's called a megawatt approach is because a megawatt is essentially 1,000,000 watts of power. It's a unit of power that's 1,000,000 watts. And it's essentially a very powerful tool to bring about change. And therefore, DIYA is a megawatt approach to change.
Very good. And it says in your bio that I have here that you are a medical researcher. So, what made you branch out to writing this book?
Well, juggling my life between a medical researcher and a wannabe med student, I was thinking and talking science quite a lot. I would say that at the same time, I was observant and reflective about life around me. Starting from about 3 decades ago, I've been very observant about life and its events. And so I have participated in writing competitions and essays that have been award winning back in school, and also wrote on Facebook starting around 2008. And I noticed that my writings have the potential to sort of make people happy and reflective and give them sort of nuggets of wisdom that they desperately need. So my writings, I figured out, could go a long way in helping people to change and helping our world to change. And putting everything together, I realized that I wanted to make this transition from being in science to being a writer.
Very good. And I should mention that Aruna is on Facebook and hosts a very lively and wonderful Facebook page called DIYA, DIYA, about the book, and it can give you a feeling of the kind of writing that's contained in the book. Also, Aruna is on medium.com, which is a platform for blogging that's very widely used by major writers, including Aruna. Aruna is also on Twitter, and you can find links to all of those on her Facebook page, DIYA. And also, I would like to mention that the book, of course, is available for sale on Amazon.com. But back to the content of the book, we want to hear more about it. In terms of your experiences in peace, what brings you the most peace? Is there a scene in your mind or a real location that brings you the most tranquility?
Well, I would like to answer this question in two parts.
Okay.
One, the foremost scene in my mind that brings me peace and tranquility is my happy, um, you know, my happy family with a good well-being. And I would like to extend this to the second part, which basically brings me peace. Is peace in the world where we want to see everyone be equal to each other, where we want to where we may have borders but not mental borders, where children can play in the park and ask wild questions in the class, and it's just a very peaceful, quiet, and very lovely world where people interact with each other in a friendly and suave manner, and where Dia is the light that brings about this change.
Mhm. Can you describe one change that you've made in your life, and how long did it take you to make this change, and how do you share this capacity for change with your readers of Dia, your book?
Well, Dia has tremendous transformational ability. Dia is in many ways an imprint of my own life. And to be very candid and honest, as growing up as a child, I was an angry person, and this sort of messed up the ways I would deal with people, with friends, with family, and everything. And the reason I was angry in the first place is because my views hardly met eye to eye with other people's views. And so I really felt frustrated when someone would come in the way of my thoughts. And so I really wanted to change the way I reacted and emoted to circumstances, because I think, it's not fun to be angry. It's not fun for yourself. It's not fun for others. But at the same time, I have taken years to understand myself and years to contemplate what this is really about. And now I've changed. I've changed for the good. I am a calm person for the most part. I am even if I get angry, I don't explode. I don't, I'm not a volcano. And I have contained my emotions. And I think this is for the good. And this has been part of the impetus that has given me to write Dia in the first place. Because if someone like me, even though I took years to make this transformation, makes this change, this can help other people to make the change in their lives and in their moods and in their character. I think it's one of the things that we deal on a daily basis. People get shot, people, there are so many bad things in the world that happen as a result of anger, and if you and I are able to contain that, then a lot of the things that we see won't happen anymore.
I
And so
see.
that's one of the change I've made. What do
Okay.
you?
And perhaps in a related question, if you had to pick one piece of wisdom that you feel is the highest priority to pass along to your readers and to people listening to this interview, what would that piece of wisdom be, and why?
Well, that's a hard one. I would say stop comparing yourself with others. I think that is a very important thing. Comparison is the key to unhappiness. That's one of the tenets I mentioned in my book. And I would say, don't, you are who you are, and you can't change that. The sooner you embrace the fact that that is the case, you will make things better for yourself and for the people around you. So, nobody's perfect. And I think it's a very, I think it's a smart thing to do, is to stop comparing yourself to others.
Very wise. And before we wrap up, and again, we're speaking about Dia, a Megawatt Approach to Change, a book by Aruna Gurumurthy, who is enlightening us all now. I always like to end with this question, Aruna, because readers like to know. If you could have lunch with one person, who you would most like to find out about or ask them questions to hear their knowledge, who would that be and why?
That again is a very intuitive question. I would like to say if I had the opportunity to have a lunch date with someone, I would pick Aishwarya Sriram. She is my friend's sister who lives in India. And she's 30 years or in her 30s and has been autistic since she was 3. And she's amazing at art, amazing at art. And she's great at doing crossword puzzles. And she solves like a humongous puzzle in a matter of hours. And so the reason, I mean, I've been very attached to her. Every time I'd go to my friend's house, I would come her, she would come running to me, Aruna, Aruna. And so I felt that connection with her back when I was a high school student. And I really would like to sit down across the table with her and have lunch and ask her questions like, first of all, I'd like to congratulate her on her beautiful mind, her journey, and on being strong. I have seen her and her parents and her family struggle through this situation of hers, and I really want to do something for autistic children. And I would like to perhaps know what is going on in her mind, because there's got to be a lot of knowledge brimming in her mind that she's able to be such a brilliant and reflective person. So I think she would be my top pick.
That's a wonderful choice. So I'm moved to hear that. Um, so I want to thank you again, Runa, for this fascinating interview, very poignant and moving. And just before we close, is there anything else you'd like to add to potential readers of the book, to potential listeners to this interview, one last nugget of wisdom that you wanted to pass along?
Well, my nugget of wisdom that can be potentially nuggets of wisdom are that you can change the world around you. You really can. And I have discovered this over decades of my life, but it doesn't have to take that long for us to discover this path that we're all headed in. It starts with the individual, and the more we understand our insufficiencies and diagnose and sort of treat our insufficiencies, the more and more that we will reach out to the wider world around us. And I really think that we all have the potential to change, and we all must have the desire to change. And my book is a very intense book about how you can make this change 24/7 in your lives. And it would be an awesome thing, an awesome view of mine, an awesome vision of mine to see this world together, because we've all made our own changes.
Okay, well, thank you, Aruna. Again, we've been speaking with Aruna Gurumurthy. She is the author of a book called, thank you for holding it up, DIYA, A Megawatt Approach to Change. It's available on Amazon.com. And also you can connect with Aruna, ask her questions, and see her daily writings on Facebook, on Twitter, on Medium, and also Google+. And this interview will also be available indefinitely on YouTube as well, so you can review it at your leisure. And thank you, Aruna, for this wonderful and enlightening interview. And I'm so pleased that you could communicate your ideas to me and to the larger world on the internet today. So I thank you.
Thank you so much, Susanna. I think this has been a great opportunity to chat with you, and I'm hoping that we will all bring in our forces of change as we get along with each other.
Okay. Thank you. I'll stand by as you close. Thank you very much.
Okay.